Okay, you guys said you wanted me to redraw my old art, so I was scrolling through my big folder of them and decided there's way too many to just draw one. So I picked two. Let's start with the 2021 drawing. Ignore the rosy DEQ because that was my old Roblox user. My immediate thought is, why does she have a butt head? Besides that, it's not like horrible, but it's not good. Ignore how the picture's elongated, but like the lighting is not very clear. Besides it like coming from the top. I don't know what this rim of lighting around her is supposed to be. I guess she's just like a glowing angel who's out for revenge. I'm gonna exclude it because it's like ugly. In the original, the pose isn't like super dynamic and the head is like straight while the shoulders are slightly tilted. Not the worst pose, but I can do better. So I'm gonna keep that tilt in the shoulders, but I'm gonna make the head lean like the opposite way because that makes it look like more dynamic. The original jaw shape was more squared and like roundish, I guess. So I'm gonna like stay true to that. You can't see what clothes she's wearing, but it's obviously something like with no straps or sleeves. Unless I was just being kinda freaky. I'm gonna just do a corset. Guys, should I make her a butt head in this version too? The finger being on her face didn't really make sense before. Like, is she about to pick her nose or what? I think I'm gonna have it like pulling her mouth upwards into a smile kind of thing. Ooh, wait, I like that. I think it's good. Her top lip is non-existent, so I'm just gonna make it a bit thinner. There's this technique that I wanted to try out because it helps with your values and whatnot. So we're gonna like start in grayscale and plot down our lighting. Since the OG had like a top-down lighting, I'm gonna try and recreate that, but make it not ugly. The values look pretty good to me, so let's start putting the actual colors. Okay, I think these are good. I'm looking at a reference for this sort of lighting, and like the light is bouncing back on the shadows, like from the chest area. So I'm gonna use an orangey color to add that bounce light, giving her actual lips, obviously. I think her hand being kind of bony is fitting because, like, I don't know, she's evil. In the original, the hair shading is so muddy and flat. Like, I used an airbrush or something and it makes it look kind of like noodles. I do have a hair tutorial posted, but it's a bit outdated. However, the next redraw will probably be better for me to explain how to draw hair because, well, you'll see. I added a bit of shadow on the bangs because I feel like it just makes sense. Y'all, I feel like her mouth looks so, I don't know, like empty. Oh my goodness, wait. Her being a vampire Eve. And it like makes sense for the terribly drawn blood drops in the original. I want the flyaways in her hair to be kind of neat-ish because vampires are supposed to be like really disturbingly perfect, right? Pro tip. Outlining the hair on a separate layer and then like lowering the opacity of said layer makes the hair look so much softer. It eats. Okay, I'm gonna add some texture and the final details and then I'll be done. Here is the final product. Do we like? It is a big jump and improvement from the original for sure. Now onto the 2023 drawing. This one is not nearly as bad as the 2021 art, but I thought it'd be fun to see how much I've improved in the last like 2 or so years. The pose is actually pretty well drawn. I don't like immediately see any anatomical mistakes in it. However, the head in the original is like very flat. Like in comparison to this head, you can see that something was off, you know? The new pose looks accurate enough. Another thing that was just kind of weird looking was like the hair. It's incredibly like thick and big, which isn't inherently bad, but it's too much. I just realized the hair is actually blowing in the wind or something, and that's actually like pretty neat. Good job, younger me. Like, the tattoos are honestly like really cool, and I don't really have anything that I change about them because I draw them the exact same way by scribbling. I always do guidelines for the facial features because it just helps a lot to get them accurate. So you should do that too. Speaking of facial features, the original had terrible with a capital T facial anatomy. Like the eyes are too big and take up like half of the face. Hello? Like, okay, alien. I'm going to include the big eyes though, just not as big as that monstrosity. Okay, I've blotted down some colors by like color picking from the original because I tried doing it by myself and it just wasn't working. Oh my goodness, y'all. I just found an old work in progress of this drawing and it is so ugly. Like, I thought my work in progresses now were bad. No, they're beautiful compared to like this thing. Okay, guys, don't be like me and use this like pink blush because I'm quite sure an orangey blush would complement her skin tone a lot better. Yeah, I was right. The original's lips were kind of like flat and more like cartoony-ish, but I want to go for a more realistic look. Adding a shadow in the middle part, like right here, and under the lips is just perfect. I kind of want the nose shape to be pretty similar to the OG since this is an OC that I have long neglected and have not drawn since 2023. I always round out the tip of the nose like this and like add a highlight. Like, it's so simple yet so effective. Okay guys, I'm gonna do a mini hair tutorial. So like obviously base colors first. I'm taking a dark color like as you can see and adding shadows in the hair. How this goes is basically like this, but like I'm not following it to a T and like I'm rather doing these like long lines that just mimic hair strands. As long as your values are good, it'll look alright. Don't, and I repeat, don't use a small brush to make the strands because like it being chunky and flowy is what makes it work. Here's a small like real-time segment so you guys can see what I'm actually doing. Scribble is eating away. Okay, here is like my final step to drawing hair. Using like a small brush, grab like a lighter version of the hair and make hair strands like this. I know I said not to do this, but this is like adding extra detail. Doing this for the whole hair would look bad. I'm looking at the OG and like comparing because there's like certain elements I'm missing, like skin texture. My old style was super messy and texturized, so my new style looks like super smooth in comparison. I think I'm gonna add some like moles and freckles by like lowering the opacity of my brush and just tapping away. I may have just realized there's like a slight rim light or whatever in the original, so I'm gonna copy. I'm almost done, but I felt like the clothes were very flat, so I'm gonna add wrinkles. And ta-da! This isn't as big of an improvement as the last drawing, but it is still new and improved. Like the facial anatomy, oh my goodness, it's so much better. And I feel like the fundamentals and everything overall is a lot more confident. Some of you may like the messier art style more, and like that's a-okay. I'm not crying.